What's going on, hustlers? Back at you guys with another video. Today we're going to be discussing 5 things that you can do to confidently request quotes from your vendor, regardless of whether or not they are a distributor or a manufacturer. But before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Greatly helps the channel. First thing that we want to do is we want to be gathering info about the product before we reach out to anybody to request a quote. So what exactly does gathering information about the product mean? Couple things that we can do here that will help emphasize our confidence over the phone or via email is we want to specifically identify other possible part numbers or nomenclatures for that item. So in the event that DLA has it listed under one part number, but the person you're reaching out to has it under another part number, you want to give them every single opportunity to reference that item in their system and then give you a quote. I hear it so many times. People are like, yeah, this company, they're listed as a distributor, but then when I reach out to them, they said that they didn't have this part number. It's entirely plausible that they store that part number in their own internal system under a completely different number than what you see on DIBS. And we also want to be double checking the nomenclature as well. It's so possible that maybe like an intern or an administrative person decided to name the part or the product something different than what the engineering activity named it. So that could be cause for difference within the systems as well. The next thing that we can do in terms of gathering information is figuring out what end use the product has. So figuring out what platform it's going to end up on, whether that be a vehicle or a naval vessel or an aircraft, or it's going to go in a building, or figuring out who the end user is. That can also greatly assist in determining if that company is going to be able to provide you the material, because sometimes they might not know the material, but then if you tell them, hey, listen, this is actually going to the Veteran Affairs office, then they might be like, you know what? I think I know what it is that you're looking for. We just call it something a little bit different. And then the third thing is we want to verify the 3 F's. So we got form, fit, and function. The biggest of these would be the form. Oftentimes when you're matching NSNs with whatever it is that you're looking for, the fit and the function is going to be the same, but we want the form to be the same. And one of the big things that people don't consider when they're talking about form is the possible color of the item. So when you guys deal with McMaster car stuff, a lot of times people reach out to me and it comes in 4 different colors. How do I know which one to get? So we want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence and researching that specific NSN to make sure that we know what color and possibly even what material the product could be made out of. So that's our first tip, is gathering everything we need to know, all the information about the product before we reach out to the company. Second thing is we want to verify the quantity and unit of measure. So the quantity is pretty easy, right? That makes sense. We want to make sure we know exactly how much meat we need before we ask somebody for anything over the phone or via email. One of the quickest ways to lose credibility is when you're on the phone with a huge company and then they say, okay, how many do you need? And then you're like, let me go check. And then they have to wait 45 seconds for you to go pull up the solicitation. That is a pain in the ass. That's one of the fastest ways to lose respect and trust from somebody, especially when it's somebody who doesn't know you and it's their first time interacting with you. And the second thing is we want to be verifying the unit of measure. And we also want to verify the quantity unit per package. So the difference between the two is the unit of measure is like what unit size the vendor or manufacturer has the item being made as. And one prime example of that is like oil or any kind of hydraulic fluid that's going to be in gallons or quarts. But if the quantity unit per package with DLA is, let's say, 5, so they want 5 quarts in each individual box, but then the unit of issue is being sold in quarts, we know, okay, if DLA wants 50 of these things and the QUP, quantity unit per package, is 5, we're gonna need 10 boxes and we're gonna need to buy these in quart size. So we can't get the milliliter size, we can't get the gallon size, we can't get the ounce size, we've gotta get the quart size. So verifying the quantity and unit of measure up front beforehand, it's a great way to establish some ethos, which is the Latin term for credibility with your vendor or manufacturer. Number 3, and kind of like a little, this is a little salesmanship here, and this is something that we talk about in boot camp, is how to make yourself sound a bit more appealing on the other end of the phone, especially when companies don't know you, is there we go. I haven't had one of those in like 3 videos, but I was due for one. is stating that you are a federally recognized company. And if you have a cage code and you're reaching out to your vendor or distributor for information on the product, you are not lying. You're telling the truth. Your company is registered with the federal government. So that literally means that you're federally recognized. And another little tidbit that I want to add on to this is never say things like I. Always say we, our, us. Always say my accounting team. Always say my sales team, my packaging team. Always say warehouse, etc., etc. These are small little things that you can do that make yourself seem like you're larger than you actually are, making it seem like you're a big company, especially if you're a small business or you're a one-man show. Number 4 is we want to make sure that we're asking the right questions up front. Because sometimes companies will operate under the notion that you already know how they operate. And a couple of the things that are included in the quote unquote right questions are going to be verifying whether or not you or them is going to have to pay for the shipping. Because we talk all the time about whether or not we're going to have to pay the government for our shipping, but we don't talk enough about whether or not we're going to have to pay for shipping from the vendor. Verifying what kind of traceability they're going to give us. And then this is a really, really good one that I don't ever hear anybody talk about on YouTube, is verifying where the material was manufactured or assembled. And a lot of times it's a given. If it's an American company, it'll be manufactured or assembled in America, but we always just want to double check that to be in compliance with the Buy American Act. And then the 5th thing that you can do to sound very, very confident over the phone and make sure that you're getting that quote is we want to be getting the person's name and number over the phone. And the way I like to phrase that is, hey, listen, once I'm ready to purchase this, I want to make sure that you're able to get the commission or I'm able to reach back out to you. Can I get your name and phone number? So those are my 5 tips on things that you can do to confidently request quotes on products from your vendors. If you found this video informative, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Not only am I looking forward to your success, I'm sure of it. Let's go print those dollars.